Imagine you send a text message, a simple and familiar gesture. Thinking of you. Can't wait to see you tonight. And then, silence. An hour passes then too. When a reply finally arrives, the warmth from the morning has vanished, replaced by a cool one-word response. Your mind immediately begins to race, scrutinizing every recent interaction for a potential misstep. What did you do wrong? Was it a joke you made? Was your message too eager, or perhaps too distant? A familiar, sinking feeling emerges in your stomach, a cold dread that whispers of impending abandonment. It feels as if you are walking on eggshells, perpetually attempting to solve a puzzle without any of the rules. This spiral of confusion and anxiety is not a random occurrence. It does not necessarily signal that the relationship is failing, nor is it likely a conscious, malicious game designed to unsettle you. More often, this is a language of an anxious attachment style. It functions as a subconscious cry for reassurance, a deeply ingrained pattern of behavior intended to answer a terrifying internal question. Are you truly here for me? Will you abandon me as others have? These behaviors, which feel like confusing and frustrating challenges, are actually unconscious attempts to gauge your commitment and establish a sense of safety. They are born from a fear of abandonment so profound that it colors every interaction, capable of turning a delayed text message into a perceived catastrophe. This exploration is for anyone who has experienced that acute anxiety or confusion over a partner's sudden shift in mood. Our purpose is to decode these behaviors, not to assign blame or apply labels like crazy or needy. Instead, our approach is one of understanding, with a genuine desire to build stronger, more secure connections. The goal is to reframe what feels like a test into what it truly is: a bid for security. Her actions are not manipulative. They are often clumsy strategies for managing overwhelming internal anxiety. We will examine the 5 most common psychological signs that a woman with an anxious attachment style is subconsciously seeking reassurance about your commitment. For each sign, we will explore the behavior itself and what it looks like in practice. We will then analyze the underlying fear that drives it, providing clarity on the why behind the what. Most importantly, we will offer a clear, actionable framework for how to respond, not merely to pass the test, but to fundamentally alter the dynamic, meet fear with security, and build a foundation of unshakable trust. This is about learning to understand her emotional language, not by playing games, but by offering the genuine, consistent reassurance her nervous system requires. By the end of this discussion, you will no longer feel as though you are walking on eggshells. You will feel equipped with a roadmap to build a deeply connected and secure relationship. You send her a text and hours pass. When she finally replies, the warmth is gone. You rack your brain. What did you do wrong? A familiar anxiety sets in. The fear that you're about to be abandoned. This is not a random event. It's an unconscious signal driven by anxious attachment. In this video, we will uncover the 5 primary ways this manifests and how you can respond effectively by building unshakable trust. Section 1. The temperature check: emotional withdrawal after perceived slights or first point of discussion, and perhaps the most common sign, is the temperature check. This occurs when a small, often imperceptible shift in your behavior triggers a disproportionately large emotional withdrawal from her. It is one of the most confusing behaviors to experience because the cause and effect seem so wildly out of sync. Consider this scenario. You have a demanding day at work with back-to-back meetings, and you cannot reply to her midday text for several hours. When you finally respond, your message is shorter than usual because your mind is still on a deadline. That evening, she is quiet and distant. The easy affection from the previous day has evaporated. When you ask what is wrong, you receive a clipped, "Nothing. I'm fine." Yet you know she is not. The atmosphere is thick with unspoken tension. Or perhaps you are out with friends and mention in passing that a female colleague delivered an excellent presentation. Later, you notice she has become withdrawn and less engaged, scrolling through her phone or seeming pensive. You are left in a state of high alert, mentally retracing your steps to pinpoint the error. Your anxiety spikes because the connection feels fractured, and you are unsure how to repair it. This is not a deliberate punishment. It's an unconscious signal. It is a subconscious test of your attentiveness, a passive way of asking, "Do you notice when I am hurting? Do you care enough to find out why? Will you pursue me even when I pull away?" The underlying fear here is the terror of being insignificant. An anxious attachment style often develops from early life experiences where care and attention were inconsistent. As an adult, her nervous system is wired to scan for any sign of history repeating itself. A delayed text or a slightly different tone of voice are not interpreted as neutral events, but as potential indicators of waning interest, the first step toward abandonment. The emotional withdrawal is a defense mechanism to protect herself from the anticipated pain of you leaving. It is also a probe, a flare sent up in the hope that you will come to her rescue. Her silence is a question. Will you prove my fear wrong? A detrimental response is to mirror her withdrawal or become defensive, saying, "Fine, if you don't want to talk, I won't either." Validates her deepest terror, that when she is upset, you will leave. Equally unhelpful is bombarding her with panicked questions like, "What did I do? Why are you mad? Please just tell me." This can feel overwhelming, placing the burden on her to manage your anxiety in addition to her own. The effective solution is to lead with calm, consistent, gentle reassurance. You must become the safe harbor in her emotional storm. The key is to acknowledge the emotional shift without demanding an immediate explanation. Allow a little time for the initial intensity to fade, then approach with gentle curiosity and unwavering warmth. You might say something like, "I've noticed you seem a bit quiet. I just want to check in and make sure we're okay. I'm here if you want to talk about it, but there's no pressure. Just know that I am thinking about you and I care about you a great deal." This response is powerful. First, it validates her feelings by showing you noticed, directly answering the subconscious question, "Do you see me?" Second, it expresses care without being demanding, opening a door for communication rather than forcing it. Third, the phrase "we're okay" is incredibly soothing to an anxious nervous system, providing a baseline of security from which to explore the issue. Finally, by stating "I care about you a great deal," you directly apply the balm of reassurance to the wound of her abandonment fear. You address the signal not by solving the immediate problem, but by proving that a small rupture does not jeopardize the entire relationship. You are showing her that you are a stable presence who moves closer, not further away, in moments of disconnection. This response doesn't just resolve the moment. It slowly rewires her expectations of how relationships function. Section 2. The meaning maze over analysis of your words and actions. The second sign can be described as the meaning maze. This is when your partner exhibits a heightened sensitivity to your words and actions, scrutinizing them for hidden negative meanings that you never intended. It feels as if you are constantly being misinterpreted, and your innocent comments are twisted into evidence against you. For instance, you are at a restaurant and you remark, "This pasta is amazing, but I think I might try the fish next time." To someone with an anxious attachment, this might be heard as, "He's not fully satisfied with our dinner choice. Is he dissatisfied with me? Is this a sign he's getting bored?" Her mind begins searching for other clues to confirm this fear. Later, she might bring it up indirectly. "You seemed a bit disappointed with dinner." You're left baffled, trying to explain that you simply enjoyed the pasta and were thinking about future meals. In another example, You mention you're feeling tired and would prefer a quiet night and instead of attending a party. For her, this is not a simple statement about your energy levels. Her anxious mind might translate it as, he doesn't want to be seen with me in public. He's withdrawing from our social life. This is the beginning of the end. She might become quiet or probe with questions like, are you sure you're not just tired of going out with me? This behavior is a subconscious test of your patience and your ability to clarify your intentions. She is asking, will you take the time to explain yourself and reassure me? Or will you get frustrated and dismiss my concerns? The underlying fear is of not being good enough, of being fundamentally flawed and unworthy of love. This belief creates a powerful confirmation bias. Her brain actively scans for evidence that validates this deep-seated insecurity. She's not trying to be difficult. She's genuinely perceiving threats where you see none. A person with an anxious attachment style will analyze your words and actions for any indication that you might be planning to leave the relationship. This is not a logical process but an emotional one, driven by a nervous system that learned early on that relationships can be precarious. An ineffective response involves defensive anger or dismissiveness. Snapping, "Why are you so insecure?" or "I can't believe you don't trust me," will only escalate her anxiety and confirm her fear that her feelings are a problem. The correct way to respond is with transparency, exclusivity, and proactive reassurance. You need to make her feel that your relationship exists in a special, protected space. First, be an open book. When she asks questions, be transparent and straightforward. Yes, Sarah is on my team. She's very skilled with spreadsheets. We mostly just discuss project deadlines. By being open, you remove the mystery that fuels anxiety. Second, when she tests you by comparing herself to others, always bring it back to your unique connection with her. If she asks if you find another woman attractive, you can be honest but immediately pivot to what makes her special. A great response is, honestly, I don't even notice other people in that way anymore because my focus is entirely on you. What I find attractive is our connection. The way you make me laugh, the way I feel when I'm with you. Nothing else compares to that. This response redefines attraction, making it about your unique bond. Third, be proactive with your reassurance. Integrate small, reassuring gestures into your daily life. If you are out with friends, send a quick text saying, "Having a good time, but I wanted to say I'm thinking about you." These unprompted acts of affirmation build a powerful emotional reserve, serving as a constant signal that she is seen, valued, and chosen. Section 4. The validation quest in direct reassurance seeking. The fourth sign is the validation quest. This is distinct from a direct, healthy request for support. It is a pattern of frequent, roundabout questions and statements designed to coax reassurance out of you without having to ask for it directly. This can look like her asking, "Are we okay?" out of the blue, even with no preceding tension. She might also make self-deprecating comments such as, "I feel like I was so awkward at that party tonight," hoping you will counter with praise about how charming she was. A classic example is the post-event analysis. After a wonderful date, she might text, "Did you have a good time tonight?" Even when it was obvious you both did. She needs to hear you confirm the positive experience to believe it was real. These questions are not genuine inquiries. They are Trojan horses carrying a desperate need for your validation. This constant search for reassurance tests your emotional endurance. She is subconsciously asking, "Will you grow tired of my need for validation? Will you consistently provide the reassurance I crave without my having to beg for it?" The deep-seated fear here is the fear of being a burden. The anxious attachment style often carries a core shame about having needs. Instead of saying, "I feel insecure and need your love," she asks, "Are we okay?" because it feels safer. This behavior is also driven by a lack of trust in her own perceptions. The reassurance she seeks feels like a vital life raft in a sea of self-doubt. It is a mistake to respond with logic or annoyance, answering "Are we okay?" with a confused "Yes, why wouldn't we be?" fails to address the underlying emotion. Becoming frustrated shames her for her neediness and reinforces her fear that her emotional needs are an intolerable burden. The effective solution is to always address the emotion, not just the question. You need to become fluent in translating her indirect pleas into the direct needs they represent. When she asks, "Are we okay?" recognize it as a bid for a connection. A powerful response is to stop what you're doing, make eye contact, and say, "We are more than okay. We're great. But it sounds like something is making you feel a little worried. What's on your mind?" This provides immediate reassurance and invites a deeper conversation. When she makes a self-deprecating comment, offer a specific, heartfelt counter-example. If she says, "I was so awkward," you might respond, "I saw it completely differently. I was so proud of how you handled that conversation with my boss. You were so articulate and engaging." Specificity makes the compliment feel genuine. When she asks for confirmation about a shared positive experience, infuse your response with emotion and detail. "I had an amazing time tonight. My favorite part was when you started laughing so hard at that story. Seeing you that happy is the best thing in the world to me." This validates her role in your happiness, which is the core reassurance she seeks. Section 5. The people-pleasing pact. Self-sacrifice and over-accommodation. The final sign is perhaps the most deceptive because it can appear to be a positive trait. We will call it the people-pleasing pact. This is when your partner consistently prioritizes your needs and desires, often at the expense of her own. She will agree with you when she disagrees, hide her preferences, and avoid conflict to maintain peace. For example, when asked where she wants to go for dinner, her constant refrain is, "Whatever you want is fine with me." She might enthusiastically agree to a movie, only for you to later discover she dislikes that genre. She becomes a chameleon, molding herself into what she believes is the perfect, most agreeable partner. This pattern of self-sacrifice is a silent, desperate bargain. She's subconsciously testing whether her efforts will be rewarded with unwavering commitment. She is asking, "If I make myself indispensable and cause no friction, will you finally deem me worthy of love and promise never to leave?" It tests your perception and your care. Will you notice her efforts? And more importantly, will you notice the absence of her true self and care enough to invite it back? The underlying fear is of rejection for who she truly is. This behavior is rooted in the belief that her authentic self with all her needs and opinions is fundamentally unlovable. People-pleasing is a survival strategy. She hopes to make herself so valuable that you would have no reason to leave. She's attempting to earn her place in the relationship through service because she does not believe she is inherently worthy of that place. The most significant mistake is to simply enjoy the benefits of her people-pleasing. Your complicity confirms her belief that her value lies only in her ability to please you. This creates a deeply unhealthy dynamic where you are in a relationship with a reflection rather than a whole person. The powerful healing solution is to actively and consistently make space for her authentic self. You must become the champion of her needs and the advocate for her opinions. Start by creating opportunities for low-stakes self-assertion. Instead of asking, "What do you want for dinner?" offer a choice. "Do you feel more like Italian or Thai tonight?" When she expresses a preference, celebrate it. "Great choice." This positive reinforcement teaches her that her opinion leads to positive outcomes. Actively inquire about her desires. Make it a habit to ask, "What is something you've been wanting to do? I want to make sure we make time for that this week." This shows you value her fulfillment as much as your own. When you suspect she is suppressing an opinion, gently create a safe space for it. You could say, "I really value your perspective, and it's completely okay if you disagree with me. I would love to hear your honest thoughts. Our relationship is strong enough to handle different opinions. By doing this, you're demonstrating that you care more about her well-being than your own immediate convenience. You're teaching her self-care by prioritizing it for her. Passing this test means refusing her self-sacrifice and instead inviting her self-expression. It sends the message, I don't want a perfect partner. I want you. All of you. That is what I am committed to. In summary, the temperature check, the meeting maze, the loyalty scan, the validation quest, and the people-pleasing pact are 5 subconscious behaviors stemming from the fear of abandonment that characterizes an anxious attachment style. Emotional withdrawal tests your attentiveness, overanalysis tests your patience, subtle jealousy tests your loyalty, reassurance-seeking tests your emotional endurance, and self-sacrifice tests your perception and care. The common thread is that these are not challenges to be won with clever tactics. They are addressed by responding not to the surface behavior, but to the vulnerable fear beneath. The antidote to anxious attachment is secure attachment. The solution is to consistently offer what was likely inconsistent in her past: unwavering safety, calm reassurance, and a genuine celebration of her true self. This involves becoming a partner who moves closer during disconnection, clarifies during confusion, prioritizes her when she feels threatened, validates her when she feels insecure, and champions her needs even when she will not. This work requires immense patience and empathy. However, by understanding the why behind her actions, you can shift from frustration to compassion. You can stop walking on eggshells and begin building a foundation of solid ground, creating a relationship where such tests are no longer necessary because security has become the new normal. I invite you to share your experiences and insights in the comments below. This is a topic that affects many people, and our collective stories can be a powerful tool for learning and growth. Which of these signs resonated with you the most? For those who found this discussion valuable and wish to continue exploring how to build healthier, more secure relationships, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. We are building a community dedicated to understanding the complexities of human connection. Thank you for watching, and remember to lead with security.